Okay, so my hair is all fucked up, but yeah. So, hey guys, it's me, JPLX24, and I'm here today to discuss what I've been doing and what I've been up to for these past couple. I don't know, like over a month. It's been like what, a month since I uploaded a video, like a little over. And let's talk about that. So, what had happened to me is that I actually got a job. And what I did at this, I was a waiter. I was a cashier slash waiter at this place called Crab du Jour. Like this. This is what the logo looks like right there. And, you know, I worked there for a good month per se, but I finally decided that yesterday was going to be my last week. And I no longer work there. So, I'm here to discuss, my experience working at Crab du Jour, as I like to call it. So, my experience I got a notification. I got a YouTube notification. Okay, ignore that. So yeah, my experience. Okay, so at first, what had happened was, so I look at I find the job description on Indeed because that's what I used to find part-time jobs on this, blah 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 blah. And I wrote it out. I sent in I didn't want to apply to a place. I did my best to avoid anything that involved food because any place that involves food is always a pain in the ass, that I hear most people say. And so yeah, I was just like, you know what, screw it. I have no other options. I sent in the application. It said it pays 14 to 18 an hour. And I'm just like, that's pretty decent money. Maybe I could work here. So yeah, I applied, sent it in, forgot about it, moved on. And I believe like 2 or 3 days later, I get a call back. Or not a call back, but a message like, hey, I looked at the interview and it says like, hey, I saw your interview, come to the store and we could discuss for this. I'm like, oh shit, I got interviewed. That's cool. I can finally start, working and, making some money and all that stuff. So yeah, like 2 days later I went because I couldn't go the day after, blah, 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 blah. I went the day after and then I go into the store and then the boss, there were people working at the front desk. I asked him, hey, I'm here for an interview. And I tell them, the guy comes out and just like, hey, there's a guy here for an interview. And, he calls me. He's like, hi, I'm Josh, blah, 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 do all that stuff. And then he gives me a paper. Writes all this stuff, the application process, like what your name is, blah, 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 your email, your phone number, this, that, the pay and all that stuff and all that nonsense. And then when he was discussing it, when he was looking at the paper and he was talking to me about it, blah, 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 and I discussed the hours I wanted to work, because the hours I wanted to work was from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. because the place was kind of far, and I can't drive, at least not yet. So I had to rely on my mother to take me there, or just anyone who could give me a ride. So that's why I requested 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Because I didn't want to work for very long. I didn't want to spend just my entire day working. I wanted to keep making videos while having a part-time job. That's what I wanted to do initially. And then, he was looking at me, he was like, blah, 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 blah. It's been like a month. I don't remember what he said. But he was like, this, that. And the second I heard the payment, he said, you could probably make as much to 15 an hour. I'm just like, ooh, 15 an hour? Yo, sign me up, fam. Thinking like, oh, I may actually have a really good paying part-time job. Let's fucking go, right? And then, excuse me. I did that. I was sent in the application. He said Monday and Tuesday you can come to training, so that way I can know what I need to do, all that stuff, blah 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 blah, and all that nonsense and all that shit. And I'm just like, okay, cool, because I went in on like a Thursday and all that stuff. And I wanted to work only on the weekdays, Monday to Friday and all that nonsense, blah blah blah. And everything was going good. So the next day I come in on Tuesday, I start my training days. And all that stuff happens, blah 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 blah. I get my training, that stuff, all that nonsense, blah. Now, Now let me explain what I did at the job, because I've been talking for like 5 minutes and I didn't even explain what I did at this fucking job. I was just explaining the backstory and everything. Okay, so what I did at this restaurant was I was a waiter and a cashier. But the thing is, I should probably mention that I work with my friend Sam here. This is what he looks like right there. And me and Sam, well, I started working there before Sam did, because Sam said he needed some money. I'm like, hey, you could try working at my job. You know, it'd be fun. You know, if we worked at the same job together. You know, that could be fun and all that nonsense. And then, you know, all that stuff, blah 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 blah. And then, so we basically, you know, we worked the same shift, you know, 2 to 8, because that was our schedule for the training and all that stuff. And then the boss decided, I'm gonna change the schedule because I want people who work morning shift and I want people who work night shift. So he split us up. So I worked the morning shift, Sam worked the night shift. And what I did in the morning shift was, what I would do is I would come in, you know, I would walk into the store. The door was usually unlocked because, you know, I don't have a key to the place. So the door was usually unlocked. I would come on in, I would open the lights, you know, I would go all the way to the back, turn on the machines that, you know, can handle the money and all that stuff, you know, the cashier machines and stuff. Turn those on. I turn on the TVs that display the menus. And I restock the drinks for, you know, people coming in later. And then after that, I have to do my mandatory MacGuffins. So what I have to do for mandatory MacGuffins is I have to fill buckets with a bunch of these plastic bags. It was usually like 30 to 40 of them, and you just had to keep wrapping one over the other. It was, oh my god, I hated that. The bucket thing was the worst thing ever. And another thing that I had to do was change the prices on the menus, because the menu prices were fucked up when they were printed. So we had to just like grab a Sharpie right off to, we had to change the prices of the crab meat po' boy from $9.99 to $12.99, and then the lobster roll from $12.99 to $20.99. So we did that. You have to do like 100 a day and all that stuff, and all, you know, all that other nonsense. And then we had to do these bibs. So basically what we did is we folded bibs. You know, we folded them into like these little, as tiny as we could, possible shits. And all that nonsense. So when, you know, once you get all that done, you know, you basically, what you do is you could just chill there. And then once you get all your mandatory stuff, you can basically just sit there, do whatever you want, and wait for a customer to arrive and you serve them. And, you know, everything was just going just fine and all that stuff. You know, by the time I switched shifts from like 2 to 8 from 11:30 to 7 p.m., things have been, you know, because, you know, I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm a dumbass. Like a super, super dumbass. I am so stupid. Like, it takes me like 3 times to understand one topic. And oh my goodness, like the first couple of days, when I was doing training, I messed up so many times. Like, and it was always like the same mistakes too. Like, for example, like, do I have a menu? I feel like I should have a menu. I'm sorry if you can hear the fan. I have the AC on and it's fucking hot in here. So if you hear that, I apologize. I don't think I have a menu, but do I have? No. I'm not gonna go soul searching for it. Let me see if I can find the menu online and all that stuff. So basically, when you get the seafood boil, you know, like a make your own catch or a cat special or a combo deal, you usually get a seafood boil bag of food. And then with that seafood boil bag, you get a choice of a sauce. It was the crab du jour special, which is our special sauce, garlic butter, lemon pepper, original Cajun, Old Bay, or no sauce at all, which they call plain. And then you have a choice of a spice level. So you have to choose the sauce and the spice with the seafood. And what I would usually do most of the time is I would forget the sauce and the spice. Because, you know, sometimes when people are talking, they explain so much. You know, usually like when they say all the seafoods that they want, like with the make your own catch, right? There's like a bunch of seafood listed, and then they have the prices for a half pound, and then they have the prices for a full pound. And then they'd be like, oh, can I get half pound this, a full pound of that, half pound of this, whole pound of that, blah, 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 blah. And usually by the end of that, sometimes I would forget to ask them the sauce and the spice level for the boil. And, you know, when I forgot it, like maybe the first time, my boss was like, you forgot to say the sauce and spice, you know, just being normal about it. But then after a while, it kept happening. And that's when he got really, really like pissy about it. Like my boss would just be like, I remember there was this one time, I was doing a morning shift and he was here, and I forgot the sauce and the spice level again, and he got, I wouldn't say he got extremely pissed, but he was annoyed at the fact that I forgot it again. Like usually when I would forget it before that day, he would just be like, really? Sauce and spice again? Come on, man. Just being, critical and all that shit. And then, but there was this one time he just decided to let a little cuss slip the crack. So he's just like, really? You forgot the fucking sauce again, Josh? Come on. How many times? How many times? He would. Thankfully, he didn't yell at me, but it's like the fact that the fact that he was annoyed and he had like basically no patience. It got to me a little bit, but the other shit. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. And then little small mistakes like that happen. Nobody's perfect and all that shit. And then there was this one day that, oh my god, this one day I'll never forget. It was a Friday. I was so ready to go home and finally have like a 3-day break, because like I was told not to work on Mondays. And after that Friday, I was ready to like, oh, finally a 3-day weekend, I can go home. And then what had happened was, so I took a phone order, and the lady originally she asked for a combo deal. Combo deal. I think it was like the crab and go and all that nonsense. And then she asked for a free pound of seafood. So what she really wanted was the cat special. And the cat special, there was a promotion going on by the time I was working. It was like, if you get a cat special, you can get another pound of seafood of your choice for free from the pick 2 side. So at first she wanted the crab and go, and I thought she wanted another pound of seafood for free and all that stuff, and I didn't understand that when she got on the phone, because I thought she just wanted a crab and go and another pound of seafood. And then she calls back saying like, hey, can you just verify what I got? It's like, yeah, you wanted the crab and go combo with another pound of seafood and all that stuff, blah 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 blah. But what I didn't know is that she wanted the cat special, which is why she asked for the free pound of seafood. So I did that. And then my boss comes, because he was with the kitchen staff at the time. When we do our phone orders, we send all of the stuff to the kitchen, whether it's paid for or if it's not. And then all that stuff. And when he came rushing out. And he's like, Josh, what the fuck is this? Why you charge them, why you give them a pound of seafood for free? Like, come on, man. What are you doing? Basically yelling at me because I wasn't supposed to do that. And my dumbass didn't know that. I was just thinking like, do this, that. Because, I was still new there. So I was just, freaking out. Just trying to abide to what the customer wanted and all that shit. And then, he gets yelled at me. He puts the normal price on it again. And then by the time the customer gets here, I have to explain to her, like, hey, blah, 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 your food is ready, but, the stuff that you want, but here's your food, but I can't give you free pound, so if you don't mind paying extra, blah, 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 blah. And then apparently the customer had, like, something, because, like, she left the house, because, some random family issue that she had. So she ended up, because she didn't want what she asked for on the phone, and I didn't know that when she called the second time. So she ended up just leaving without paying for it at all. And then after all that happens, we just have $70 food just waiting here, right? And then we just have a $70 order. It was like $70 or something like that, like 68 something, just waiting here, just waiting. And then my boss said, you have to pay for this. And I'm thinking to myself like, I'm sorry? Like, he's saying that since the customer didn't want that, and he's like, now they're probably not going to come back here, blah, 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 blah. You messed up with the customer's order and all that nonsense. And then, just being his usual self with no patience and all that nonsense. And then after my shift ended, I had to unfortunately pay fucking, what was it, it was like 60 something dollars. So basically what I did, because I didn't have the money I didn't have the money to pay for it. I only had like $30 in my bank account at the time. So basically, the tips that I made, I think the amount of tips I made was like 30 something dollars. and then the amount of money I had on like my card was like 33, and it ended up being like $33 left. So he basically just took away my tips for that day, and then I had to pay the rest in card. And then oh fuck, I'm trying to remember. I ended like after I paid for that food, I had to fucking. I basically like once I paid for it with my card, I went from like $33 to like 62 cents. I ain't talking about Mr. Krabs and whatever that freaking SpongeBob ghost's name was, I forget. And after all that nonsense happened, I basically just like I wanted to cry, cause like not only did he yell at me because I made that, because the customer didn't want all that, and I didn't know what they wanted over the phone. I was being an idiot. Not only was I upset at that, but I was also upset at the fact that I basically made I essentially lost all my money to this freaking seafood place, dude. And at that point, I just wanted to. I was like, there was so many emotions. I was upset. I was angry. I was frustrated. It was like, a lot of negative emotions. I literally like almost just threw the entire seafood away. Just wanted to like burn it to the ground because I was just so angry at the fact that I lost all my money to this fucking food that I don't even like eating. Like I'm not a seafood guy. I don't really like to eat seafood. And it's like, it's like I tried to throw it out in the local trash can, but it was too big. So it's just sitting there on my lap, just wait. It's just like, my friend Sam is driving me home, and I'm just sitting there, just like, it's just on my lap, just like it's just cursed. Just like cursed right there. And it's just like, this is just a painful reminder that is like, you fucked up big time today. Now you're never gonna get that money back. Fucking idiot. Look at you. But instead of throwing it away or burning it to the ground, I just called my mom and just like, hey, I'm on my way home. I brought some food. You want to try it? And then I just gave her that, and she ate it. And then that was probably the biggest fuck up, and probably one of the reasons why I also wanted to quit that job was because of that nonsense. But everyone makes mistakes and all that shit happens. It is what it is. I got over it very quickly. And honestly, the real reasons why I wanted to quit that job was because, like, one, the boss. See, tell me how the hell everyone else is nice. Like, everyone else who works there is nice, except for who is. I keep getting random text messages, so it's like everyone at the job is so nice, except for him. It's like he's not necessarily mean per se. Like, he's not a straight up dickhead, at least not to the workers. I hope not. Because I got something to say about that. Because, like, he wasn't like a complete and total dickhead to us, thankfully. But it's just like, the fact that he kept getting so like easily frustrated over the tiniest things that could be fixed with just simple communication. Like, literally, like, for example, like I said, how I would forget like the sauce and the spice levels for the seafood. He would get so fucking frustrated. He'd be like, really? How many times? Just being his usual impatient self or something, whatever the fuck you call that. I also should mention he plays League of Legends, so that's probably where all that impatientness and angriness gets from, but that's besides the point. Yeah. So, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so, like, everyone else who works there was really nice. And, like, I remember this one time I forgot the sauce and the spice level again, but my boss wasn't here. He, like, when I did in, like, the last 2 weeks I was working my morning shift, he wasn't there. So I basically ran the whole entire store. Because he was, for those past 2 weeks, he only showed up on Friday and the weekends. Monday through Thursday was just me and Sam. Throughout the whole, like, I did the morning shift from the day the store opened to 7 p.m. and Sam would go there from 4 p.m. till the time the store closed. And I remember one time I was doing a dine-in table because you can eat in the restaurant. There's like 6 tables in the store that are usable to have dine-ins. And what's it called? So, like, I forgot I was in a dine-in table. and I forgot the sauce and spice again. And then one of the kitchen staff, he taps me on the shoulder. Hey, and I'm like, yeah, what's up? He's like, hey, you forgot the sauce and the spice level again. And I'm like, oh. And I looked at it, it's like, oh, okay, let me go ask him. And it's like, we had a little laughing moment about that because, this shit just happens. And then this is like, that was like the one few instances when me and the other, like, people, basically people who work in the kitchen and make the actual food, we were just laughing about that. And, if like he handled the situation way better than my boss would, because if my boss was there, we would have heard the how many times all that nonsense, blah 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 blah. Don't make this mistake, the standard shit. Makes you just want to punch him in the, that's the point. Anyways, so yeah, that's basically all the stuff that happened. And how could I end off this video? Because I've already been recording for like 20 minutes. I can explain some crazy stories, while I'm here. Okay, so there was this one incident when it was a Thursday. And it was right when me and Sam shift was, because at the time me and Sam had the exact same hours, 2 to 8 p.m. And there was one time a party of 13 came into the store. They came in at like 6 o'clock and they didn't leave until like 9, dude. And it was a party of 13 people. And me and Sam were just like, the hell? And they asked if they could combine tables, and my boss said no, we can't do that, all that stuff, but we still served them. And I also messed up orders, but we'll save that for another time. I got it fixed and all that stuff. So they ate it, they came, they enjoyed our food, but like, the tip that I got afterwards was so fucking nice. They gave us $70 each, both me and Sam. We made $70 tips that day. And then, the tips combined from the whole entire day, we basically made $112 that one day. And it was goated. That was one crazy story. There was another crazy story that happened yesterday as I'm recording this video, June 18th. It was my last day there. And so what had happened was, there was this, we got an Uber Eats, because like the store has Uber Eats, DoorDash, Grubhub, and this random one called Chowna or something like that. I never heard of it until I started working there. So there was an Uber Eats order. I put it into the system and all that stuff. I make sure everything was correct. So then what had happened was, by the time Sam got here, it was me and Sam at the time. I put in the order and Sam gave the driver the food. So the driver goes in, he gets the food. Someone just came and dropped off a package. Sorry about that. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I put the order in through Uber Eats and all that nonsense. I have a video explaining how I put in, online deliveries and all that stuff. So, I put the order in, and Sam gives the driver the wrong order. So, like, they gave him the wrong order, and they took it and they left. Because they were under the impression that, it's the right food and they can go. So, that lady, the person we gave the wrong food to, she never complained about it. It's the person who we didn't give the food to that complained. So basically what happened was, there were two people. There was one named Chanel and one named Teresa. Sam gave Teresa's driver Chanel's food. So Teresa got food, but it was the wrong food. But she never complained about that. And then Sam, Chanel's order never came. So then, what's it called? So what had happened was, I think Sam gave, the wrong order, but Teresa never complained, and Chanel's still waiting for her food and all that stuff. But we're telling Uber Eats drivers, like, we don't have it here, because, he gave it to somebody else by mistake. And he, all that stuff. So he, Chanel's over here waiting for like 2 hours, and at the point she just she calls the store. And Sam, normally answered the phone. I was in the bathroom at the time and all that stuff. So while all this was going on, I was just in the bathroom. So then, Sam orders, makes the call. He's just like, hi, can I speak to the manager? And then, he gives the phone to my boss, who is the manager of this place. And thankfully he was here because it was Friday. Because if he wasn't here and all that stuff, it would have been a whole different situation and all that stuff. So I come back from the bathroom. I hear this woman screaming on the phone. Like, she is yelling beyond belief, bro. she's yelling how the fact that she's been waiting for like so long. Where is my food? I've been waiting 2 hours for all this stuff. Blah 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 blah. This that. Being really angry about it, which is understandable because like, who the hell's gonna wait? Uber Eats shouldn't take 2 hours to get there and all that stuff. So yeah, she's complaining. Jacob, my boss is trying to explain, what's going on. We gave it here. We just gave it to the wrong person. It says it's been delivered, and then she's complaining. Was like, well, it's not here. So and all that stuff. Just basically getting really upset that the fact that her food is not here, and she's wondering what the hell's happening. But my boss didn't know what happened, but me and Sam were just like having an internal discussion about it. Like, what do you think happened to the food? And all that stuff, blah 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 blah. And I'm thinking to myself like, I think you gave the person the wrong order. And then when he realized that, he was like, oh shit. And I'm trying to console him because he's really upset about that, because he knows if he tells the boss that, whoo, he's gonna lay into him. But I told him like, yo, we'll just keep this to ourselves. Shit happens. We'll see if he can take care of it. But while this lady's still like, yelling over the phone, my boss decides to hang up on her mid-sentence. He just like hangs up the phone. And I'm looking over at him like, is he insane, bro? And then all that stuff happened. And, we decided to make the order again because, we gave it to somebody else. So we decided to make the order again. She decides to come pay for it at the store. And everything seems fine. The store isn't busy. We're just minding our business. Like, I'm on my phone. Sam is cleaning a little bit. And then, my boss is just sitting across from me, just like on the computer and all that stuff. And then we hear Sam go, I think that's her. I could be wrong. I look out the window, and I look at the window, and I see this woman coming in with like this really tall, light-skinned dude. I don't know if that was her hitman or all that stuff. Like, that was her backup, because the way she was talking on the phone, bro, I swear, if we weren't there, I felt like they would have thrown hands, bro. So she's yelling at him like, where's my food and all that stuff. The first thing we hear from this woman is like, cause my boss is Asian, and he has an accent with it too. So like, he's hearing the accent on the phone, and then like, she walks past Sam, nothing. Does not yell at him or anything. She looks at me, doesn't say anything. She looks at my boss, and she's like, is this the guy? Are you the one I was on the phone with? Are you the one I was on the phone with? Why the fuck would you hang up on me like that? I'm over here trying to explain my situation, and you hold on, who the fuck does that? Why are you hanging up the fucking phone on me, you motherfucker? Like, she's really upset at the fact that she got he hung up the phone on her. And then, the food's still being prepared and all that stuff. And I'm over here just watching the whole, I'm just watching the whole thing, just like, I'm just watching the whole thing. I'm thinking to myself like, yo, this woman is about to fight this man. I may have to break up a fight, and I don't want to do that. And then, all that stuff happens. He gives her the food, and then she's complaining how the prices for so in her order she got a bottle of ginger ale, and online it's like $2.25 for a can. Yeah, because she ordered a can. I said bottle, excuse me. So she saw the can, and she's like, you really saying a can of ginger ale is $25? Nah, fuck that. She just grabs a bottle from the bag and she just hands it to him and just leaves. And all that stuff. And then she leaves. Thankfully no one got hurt. A couple derogatory terms came out from both sides, but well, I can't discuss that on YouTube. I'm pretty sure my boss cursed around in like Mandarin or something, because I heard him say something. I don't know what he said, but I heard him say something in Mandarin. And all that stuff happens. And that's pretty much my job experience. I wouldn't say it was a shitty job. The job itself wasn't too bad once you got used to it. Honestly, the real problem was just my boss. And the reason why I quit was not only because of him, but also because it's really far from my house. So I would have to constantly get rides to and from, and I'm just like, I can't keep asking for rides like this. And all that stuff. So I decided, just find another job closer to where I live and all that nonsense. But yeah, I'm actually gonna, before we end off this video, I'm gonna play a quick interview with the man himself, Sam. While my boss wasn't here, I decided to interview him while we had some free time. And yeah, let's take a look at the footage right now. Alright, so we are here at Crab du Jour with my good friend Sam, also a worker here. How you doing today, sir?
Pretty good. I can see him doing buckets myself.
He is also doing the buckets because his shift starts a little bit earlier. His start at 4, or mine starts at 11:30 in the morning. And Sam, how would you say your experience was working at Crab du Jour?
I mean, to be fair, it's not like I disliked it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just working on closing shift hours is kind of draining. There's
Really?
not much that you want to do once you get back home.
Right. I understand that. And your thoughts on the boss itself?
Honestly, I'll be honest. I do respect him. I do like him, but I think he gets annoyed a little too easily.
Right.
That's all.
Right.
But other than that, I mean, pretty cool guy.
Is there-
Likes League.
He likes what?
League of Legends.
Oh, okay. League of Legends. Already a bad sign, but anything, like, you get any perks for being an employee here? Like, let us know.
I mean, you do get food under $15 for free.
Okay, food under 15. Anything else?
Other than that, not particularly. None that I can think of, really.
Okay. Well, thank you, Sam, for the quick interview. Appreciate it.
Anytime, sir.
No problem. All right, and that is the interview with Sam working at Crab du Jour. Thank you, Sam, for the interview. Appreciate it, brother. You guys should check out his YouTube channel. Link it in the description. Sam Animations. He has some great animated fights and all that stuff. But yeah, that is it for the video. That was basically my job experience working at this job. Would I recommend it to people living in Jersey? See, now that's a tough one. I feel like the job itself isn't bad per se, like the stuff you have to do and all that nonsense, and the hours. It's all right. I wouldn't say it's the greatest thing ever, but it's definitely like the worst thing I've ever done in my life. As long as you like can get everything correct on the first try and like not fuck up like more than 3 times, you should be just fine at this job. There are some people, there are some really nice people working in the kitchen staff. Most of the customers have been pretty nice and pretty respectful, and you get tips. So it was an all right job. But yeah, that was my experience working there. That's gonna be it for me. I really don't have anything else to say about this job. Not a really interesting video, but I'll do my best to make it interesting enough. I've been recording for like 30 minutes, so I clearly had a lot to say. But yeah, that was my experience working at Crab du Jour. And with all that said, I'll see you guys later, probably next week or something like that, and I will catch you all on the flip side. Yeah, I think my Audacity... No, it's still recording. But yeah, I'll see you guys later. Take care. Have a good one. Peace.